So how do you find the minimum value of a quadratic expression like this one? Well, first of all, it's good to understand what the question is really saying, because it seems a bit strange, right, that you could have a minimum value of this or a maximum of an expression, because x could be anything, right? It doesn't have a minimum or maximum, so why should the whole expression have a minimum or maximum? The quick answer is if you try to draw the graph of something like this, which is basically a quadratic, a positive quadratic, then you get a positive quadratic graph which is a U shape. And the y values, i.e. how high or low the graph is, or any point on it, tells you the value of the entire expression. And if you've got a U shape, that means there's a bottom bit, there's a vertex at the bottom of the graph. And that means there is a lowest value on the graph for this expression. So that's the kind of quick answer. If you don't know what I was just talking about, then do check out the important graphs and probably also transforming graphs section on my website. So anyway, that explains a little bit, but let's actually try to work out the minimum value of this expression. So how do you do that? First thing you've got to do is complete the square for your expression. Why do you do that? You'll find out in a few seconds. So completing the square is pretty easy. You just halve this number in front of the x, which is minus 4. So half minus 8 is minus 4. And you stick that minus 4 in two places here and there in this standard expression that you get when you complete the square, which is basically bracket x with some number all squared minus the same number again all squared. And that number at the end, the plus 7 here, goes there as well, because this stuff only equals the first two things. So anyway, that is how you complete the square. You should of course simplify that as well. So minus 4 squared is 16, minus 16 plus 7 is minus 9. So basically, completing the square for this gives you this. These two things are the same, just written differently. So, we have completed the square. Why did we bother doing that? Well, basically, when you square something, square a number, then you always get a positive number, or the lowest it can be is 0. So it's 0 or upwards, but it's never negative. And that's a useful thing to know if you're trying to find minimum values, because basically what I just said, in other words, is that when you square something, the minimum value it can have, like if you have, say, x squared, the minimum value x squared can have is 0. It can be positive, but it can't be negative. It can be 0 though. Okay, so basically it's saying this: x minus 4 all squared is greater than or equal to 0. Minimum value 0. Uh, so altogether, this x and the minus 4 makes a number, and then when you square it, you get a positive number or a 0. So, if you know the minimum value of this x minus 4 all squared is 0, that's really good, because then you can find the minimum value of the whole expression. So you've only got a minus 9 attached to it. So before the minimum value was 0, now the minimum value is minus 9, because you just did, made it 9 lower. So the minimum value of this expression is minus 9, and therefore, since this is the same as that, the minimum value of this expression is also minus 9.